What's up, Raider Nation? I am back, and I'm here to talk a little bit about what's going on in free agency. Now, as you guys may or may not know, the Raiders have been pretty active in free agency, and it's been nice to see that we've had some day one signings. Also, it's nice to see that we've had some bigger names, and we've also been able to add some linebackers that can actually cover a tight end. We're going to get into that a little bit more, but what I want to do is I just want to break down each and every one of the signings, and kind of go through what we have. Now, the Raiders have added 8 new players. On the offense, Jason Witten and Marcus Mariota. Now, both of those aren't very attractive names. They're not names that are going to jump off the page at you. I know that Marcus Mariota isn't Tom Brady, but let's face it, we were never getting Tom Brady. And for good reason. We have a quarterback in Derek Carr, and Derek Carr has been very proficient in this offense, and he's done a great job managing John Gruden's offense, and I think that he's going to continue to progress. Adding Mariota to this team adds better depth at the quarterback position. Last year we had Deshaun Kaiser, we had Nathan Peterman, and we had Mike Glennon as backups. Now, Nathan Peterman was designated to the injured reserve. Glennon saw limited playing time, and when he did, it was very abysmal. And Kaiser didn't really see the field. Us adding a guy like Mariota is a guy that can come in, and like I said in my previous videos, if we need him in garbage time, he can step in and get us a first down. If Carr gets hurt, he can come in and win a couple games for us. He's a guy that you can actually lean on to be that backup quarterback that's going to push our leader, push that starting quarterback, and make him better, and also make the quarterback room as a whole better, and make the offense better, because he now provides that added wrinkle on the scout team. When we're facing guys like Patrick Mahomes, he can be that Patrick Mahomes decoy. Adding a guy like Witten is a smart move, because Witten is a veteran. He's a 38-year-old veteran who's had a tremendous amount of success in Dallas, where he's been mainly a red zone tight end. He's going to be a guy that's going to be main mentor for Foster Moreau. Foster Moreau was our red zone tight end. He scored 5 touchdowns last year with 175 yards on his receptions. A lot of those touchdowns, actually all of those touchdowns, came in the red zone. What Witten's going to be able to do is he's going to be able to come in and bring that veteran leadership, that veteran experience to a guy who grew up idolizing him, and he'll be able to work with him. Also, we don't know how Moreau's knee is. So he's going to be able to help Moreau while he's coming through with that injury, while he's rehabilitating, and he'll be able to assist him with getting better. I think that Witten is a great signing for this team. I know it's not a sexy signing. I know he's not a guy that's going to come out and put up a ton of yards. He's not a flashy player. He's not a big name, but he's a veteran leader in that locker room that's going to be able to keep this team moving in the right direction. He's been a captain for a number of years. He's got a relationship with Rod Marinelli already. He's a guy that I think is going to make this team better through osmosis. Defensively, the Raiders have added a couple of players from the Cowboys. One of those players is Jeff Heath. Now, once again, this isn't a starter who's coming in. This is a depth signing. He's a guy who has been great on special teams. He can kick in a pinch, and he's a hard-hitting safety who, if needed, he can go out there on defense and make some plays. But I see Heath coming in on special teams, working with Rich Bisaccia, who he is already familiar with from Dallas, and making our special teams unit better. I think that, bringing in guys that have a vast knowledge of the special teams already is something that benefits the team. That's what we saw with Dwayne Harris when we brought Dwayne Harris in. He's got a very good knowledge of special teams, the rules, Rich Bisaccia's special teams group. I think that's what we're going to see with Jeff Heath as well. But I also think that Heath is an upgrade at the backup and third level safety positions, where we needed some more help in the defensive backfield. Now, a sexy signing for the defense, and another Cowboy, looks like we're the Las Vegas Cowboys now, is Malik Collins. Malik Collins is a defensive lineman. He's an incredibly fast player. He's big. He's physical. He can get after it. He can get to the quarterback. He can stop the run. He's a constant producer. He's a player who has had a tremendous amount of success. He's played under Marinelli, so he's going to be able to teach the younger guys like Cleveland Farrell, Max Crosby, Jonathan Hankins, Mo Hurst, how Marinelli expects things to be done. I think that he's a guy that's going to set the tone. He's a guy that should probably come in and be a starter, and he's going to be a very big impact player on this defense. I think that him working with these players is going to make them better. It's going to continue to make him better, and I think that it's going to show how good of a coach Rod Marinelli really is. So I'm excited about the Malik Collins signing. I think that it's huge for our defense. We've been clamoring that we need a defensive tackle. This is a guy that I wanted to get. Speaking of defensive linemen, the Raiders have also added Carl Nassib, defensive end, who has a knack for the ball. He's not only a pass rusher, but he is also a guy who can come in and stop the run. I think that also he's going to be a guy that could be a great mentor for Cleveland Farrell, and he's pretty much an older version of Max Crosby, but not that much older. I think that adding him to the defensive line, putting him at defensive end, adds more depth to the pass rush, something that we haven't had for a number of years. Up until last year, we finally started seeing some success. I think that working with Marinelli, I think that working with Crosby and Farrell, working on some stunts, being able to get in there and make some changes, he's going to be a guy that can impact this defense as well. I expect to see him in an expanded role on the defense, making more plays. I like that signing. Now, a signing that everybody's kind of on the fence about is Eli Apple. We got him from New Orleans. He was a player that has moved around a little bit. He started in New York. He ended up getting traded to New Orleans. They released him because they obviously have the need to re-sign Marshawn Lattimore, and they're not going to pay him a ton of money. Now, Eli Apple wasn't having a lot of success when he was in New York, and that was one of the reasons why he moved. When he went over to New Orleans, he started having a little more success. He started playing better as the number 2 corner. If he was a player that could come and compete for a starting position, he might have a good chance of doing a good job. But he's not somebody that I'm going to say is going to come in and be an instant starter. You know, obviously we have Trayvon Mullen at number 1. We are still looking for that solid number 2 cornerback. I think that going into training camp, there's going to be a lot of competition. I think that Eli Apple is a guy that you look at as competition. He's a former first-round pick. He was a great college player. He's had a little bit of success in the league, but he hasn't had a tremendous amount of success. And he's a guy that we would like to see improve. We would like to see him start if he can play at a high level. We don't want to keep putting guys that are Band-Aids on this defense that are just going to be a stopgap player. Mike Mayock is looking to add to this defense to make it a bully, to make it a team that's going to be feared, and to make it a quote-unquote no-fly zone. So I think that Eli Apple is a guy that's going to come in and compete, but he's not going to be an instant starter. Next up, we have Corey Littleton. Now, Corey Littleton is a guy that excites the hell out of me. He is the 8th ranked linebacker in the league. He was an absolute stud in LA for the Rams. He's been a player that's been on my radar ever since the season last year started. Hoping that we could get him. With the Raiders' history with linebackers, we haven't had a great linebacker who could cover a tight end in forever, and we're facing some guys in our division that are tough. You know, we've got Hunter Henry, who just got tagged. We've got Travis Kelce, and you got Noah Fant over in Denver. So I think that adding a guy like Corey Littleton is huge. He's a guy that can cover, he can stop the run, he's an all-around linebacker who is going to make plays, who should possibly compete to be a captain on that defense. He's going to be a leader. He's going to be a mentor for the younger guys, Markel Lee and Nick Morrow. I think that he is going to be a player that is going to be very exciting for this team. I'm very excited to have him. And I'm also excited to have our next guy, Nick Kwiatkowski, linebacker out of Chicago. Nick's going to come in and play Mike for us. Nick is known for his run-stopping ability. He's still pretty good in coverage. He's better than anything that we've had, I can tell you that. He's going to be a guy that can come in and start. Looking at the recent plays of how the defense has been run, Paul Guenther runs a lot of 2 linebacker sets. So putting Nick Kwiatkowski and Corey Littleton out there is going to be very paramount to what we do as a team. And adding more strength in the defensive backfield is where we need to look at. Now, obviously, we missed out on some guys like Byron Jones. We missed out on trading for Darius Slay. There's still some players out there that I'm hoping that we can get. I'm hoping that the Raiders can make a move and get Logan Ryan. I think that he would be a great corner to add. And then also, if we were to add one single receiver, just one single receiver in free agency, let it be Emmanuel Sanders. I know that Robbie Anderson is out there. I know that Brandon Cooks is on the trade block, but I think that Emmanuel Sanders would be a great addition to this offense. If you look at Tyrell Williams, Hunter Renfrow, adding a guy like Emmanuel Sanders and then drafting, I don't know, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, come on, we've got some options here. And then also a name to look out for, and obviously it's nothing big, but a name that I would like to see that just got cut is Todd Gurley. If you add Todd Gurley to that backfield with Josh Jacobs and Jalen Richard, I think that this offense can be very, very lethal. Gurley's a guy that can run, he can catch. He obviously has some knee issues. He's got a little bit of longevity issues, but Jacobs is going to be the feature back. And if you can give Gurley 10 to 15 carries per game, that might be a viable option. Let's see what happens. I'll be back in a few days to talk a little bit about what else has gone on. But yeah, if you like what you hear, if you want to hear more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell so you're getting notifications. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Let's go Raiders.